I'm still, okay, go ahead. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm on page number 26.
So this is the same book?
Pretty much, yes.
26?
Mm-hmm. Okay, is that chapter 1 and 2 skill builder quiz?
It says chapter 2 forms of ownership, transfer, and recording of title.
Okay.
So,
Oh, turn up. Okay, maybe that page. What's the first question?
a property owner has decided to do
That's
some
it.
landscaping. Let's go.
Okay.
What you think Dan said?
Okay, so I need to read the question first and get the feel of it. That's how I do with the word problems. That helps me out.
It's not really a word problem though.
Well, okay. Okay. Any problem that you have to read and comprehend, I need to look at it again
Gotcha.
to get it all.
Take it all in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
No worries.
All right. So number 1, a property owner has decided to do some landscaping work. I'm sorry.
I say we got people in here.
Okay.
We got
Hi,
Lucia.
folks.
Hey, Lucia. Lucia. Make sure you're not muted.
I'm sorry?
There you go. How you doing?
I'm doing good. No, I'm muted because I'm leaving my mom's house and I have my kids and my kids are very loud. And I've been trying to get them to leave so I can be at home. And
They're not doing right. That's how
not
kids do, man. That's how they do.
Yep. And my son, he hasn't even done his homework, but I'm planning a wedding. So,
Yeah.
you know, my wedding.
Oh, you're planning. Oh, congratulations.
Yes, I was talking to my mom about stuff, and then I was like, come on, let's go. And now they're trying to walk home. We live by my mom. And yeah, no, not by themselves. Just give me a moment.
Sweet. Okay. Well, look, I have Miss Tamiko Warren. She's inside of study hall with us, and we have the book out. We're just gonna go through a couple of the test problems. Okay.
Okay.
If I had it.
Well, she's driving.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's on one?
Yeah, she's on.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, my bad.
All good.
Okay. So the first question is, a property owner has decided to do some landscaping work on his yard. Planted trees surrounded by some flowering shrubs. Shrubs are an example of what? And here are your choices. Encroachments, B, improvements, C, surface rights, or D, implements.
Implements. Lucy, answer that question.
I want to say improvement.
Okay, what would you say?
I would say an improvement also.
All right, I think it's an improvement.
Yes.
Do they have like an answer?
Answer, yes, they do. It is on the bottom 30. The answer key is upside down. The answer is B.
Improvements. We got it all right.
Sweet.
And so what I did is just eliminated the 2 that I knew weren't it.
Which were?
I eliminated implements.
All right, what's an implement? Do you know what that is?
Crops.
Crops, okay.
Specifically barley.
Okay. Because that's what I'm saying. You know more than me because I know what that
I'm
is.
good on this stuff, but this is the math. Yeah, but anyway, but I still need to brush up on this.
Okay.
Okay. And then I knocked out, I really knocked out 3 on this one. I knocked out encroachments. Okay, because I knew that had to do with the overlapping, you know. And then I really knocked out surface rights. Okay.
What's surface rights?
Surface rights are help me out, please. Do you know?
Lucia, you know what surface rights are?
I want to say it has to do with like if there's any like minerals or something in the property.
It's mineral rights though.
It has something to do with it.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, I gotta look it up.
all right, so surface rights. Okay, so I went to a closing on Tuesday for my wife, and I went on her behalf. So when they're sitting at the closing, the clients are there. They got the paperwork, and then you have the person representing the title company sitting across from them, and they're sliding papers. All right, sign this, sign this. All right, one of the documents that you sign is a disclosure letting you know that although you're buying the house and the land, you don't own the mineral rights, right?
Mhm.
So that means if somebody finds gold on the property or finds oil on the property, even though it's your land, you don't have a claim to any of that. It stays with the developer.
Mhm.
So anytime I'm going to a closing, the client signs that disclosure, acknowledging that they know that they don't have mineral rights. All right.
Okay.
So since they don't have mineral rights, what do they have?
Also, that's surface rights.
They only have rights to the surface. Anything above the ground is the only thing they have.
Oh, okay.
rights
So it's
to.
just the opposite of mineral rights. Pretty much.
Well,
just
not necessarily opposite, but the surface you have ground up.
I don't
is what
own
they
the
own.
rights, the mineral rights, and so it
Anything
belongs
under
to the
ground.
developer.
Anything under the ground.
Okay.
So if anything of value was found under the ground, you don't own it.
So above ground is me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Below
Got it.
ground is still a developer.
Okay, got it.
All right.
All right.
See, look at us learning. today.
Right. Okay. Number 2, a property.
Oh, you have a question, Lucia?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought I was muted and my daughter.
Oh,
She fell down.
No worries. All right. Let's go.
Okay. Number 2, a property owner has a waterfront lot on a stream. Tell me to look for keywords also,
Okay.
and I'll tell you what those keywords are in just a second.
All right. Perfect.
Okay. He has the right to refuse.
That's not that word.
Oh, I'm sorry. He has the right to
There
use
we go.
the water from the stream. What is this right called?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
A, riparian. Am I saying that right?
Repairing.
Uh-huh. B, littoral.
Mhm.
C, appropriative.
Appropriative. Yep.
Appropriative.
Mhm.
And D, appropriation.
Appropriation. All right. What's the answer?
Okay, so keyword I would look at is stream.
String. Yep. Mhm. What you think it is, Lucia? Oh, look at Rhonda. What up?
I think it's B, but honestly, I'd be guessing. I just got upstairs.
Okay.
He
B.
sounds right.
All right, littoral. Do you know what littoral means?
I don't remember, honestly.
Okay.
But I'm thinking literal.
It refers to a lake.
Littoral.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Littoral is a lake.
Littoral refers to a.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And riparian is a river.
Right.
Okay.
So stream is the key word.
That's the key word.
Stream is kind of small, I guess. A stream.
Small river.
Uh-huh.
So repairing.
Period.
Repairing.
Mhm.
All right, let's see. Hey, repairing.
Mm-hmm. And see, C and D are too much alike. They want you to eliminate things like that. That's just they're trying to throw you off
But
there.
do you know what those words mean?
What they mean? Okay. No, I don't. But if I don't know
Yeah.
them and I'm familiar with the other two,
Then you go with it.
then I
That's
go
what you
with
got.
it. But let's go over those two words.
I don't know what they mean.
Okay,
Hey,
let's find out.
Lucia, do you know what appropriative or appropriation means?
I do not remember.
All right. Rhonda, you know what appropriative or appropriation means as it relates to a right?
I'm sorry, and what book are we looking at?
We're looking at Champions Real Estate Exam Prep. Where'd you get your class from, Lucia? Champions, right?
Oh no, I went to HCC.
ACC. All right, no worries. We have the exam prep book from Champions.
Oh,
So we use that during study hall to go through some things. I'm keeping it. Right?
oh, okay.
Man. You need to keep this one, okay? That's a new one. That's the one I need.
This the new one?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
You take this one. It's all written in and stuff.
Okay.
You take for now. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Rhonda, you're not gonna talk to me today? Rhonda just looking.
See, it's still kind of, they're referring it to water though, because appropriative right to use water
Mhm.
exists without regard to the special relationship between land and water. It is based on physical control, beneficial use, and if initiated after 1914 on a permit or license. Appropriative rights may be sold or transferred. Okay.
That's the level of ownership.
Okay, so let's see what appropriation is.
Yeah.
So that don't even have anything to do with what they're asking for here.
Right, because it's not an ownership stake.
Exactly. You see how they try to do? But it
Mhm.
still talks about
It's
water
close.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna get one that's close. Yeah, so they're gonna give you two that's obvious, and then they're gonna give you one that's similar. And then that's where you get tripped up.
Mhm.
It's how it be sometimes. Yes, Rhonda ain't gonna talk to us. Rhonda, you not gonna talk to us?
I'm here. I had to walk away for a minute, but I'm here.
Oh, what's going on, girl?
Nothing much. How's everybody doing?
We doing good. We got Lucia, she's online with you, and then we have Tamiko in the building.
Hello.
Hello.
And we're going through this real estate exam prep book. And we're looking up appropriative and appropriation.
Right. So appropriation is a process by which previously unowned natural resources, particularly land, become the property of a person or group of persons. Appropriation through use can apply to resources other than the exclusive right to use of the surface of the land.
Okay.
Mhm.
So in essence, somebody gave the land.
No,
Of the-
particularly land become the property
of a
of a
person.
person or group of persons.
Can we think of an example? Can we think of a historical example of when land was appropriated? I mean,
The Indians?
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
that's an example.
All right.
Y'all heard that?
No, what was it?
I say a historical example of when land was appropriated based on the definition of appropriation. Did you hear the definition?
Yes.
All right. Can you think of a historical example of when it was done?
When the states were founded.
I
don't know.
All right. So, Rhonda, can you think of a historical example of what was appropriated based on the definition?
Okay. When
This
she
helps
was
you.
reading it,
Mhm.
This helps you remember the definition.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Rhonda.
yeah, can she rephrase
Yes,
that?
I can.
All right, reread.
Thank you.
And the
Repeat
reason
it.
we're doing this, Lucia, is because being able to visualize things in images help
Okay.
remember. So by being able to recall a historical event, you can imagine the event happening, and then that'll help you understand the word. So
Mhm.
when you see the word, the image is gonna, because the brain processes images, it doesn't process words.
Mhm.
So this is a good technique for you to use when you're trying to remember things. So you're
Mhm.
trying to recall.
And then they'll throw
images.
in that question for you. They'll throw in this question anyway
Mhm.
about appropriation. So we still need to know what the definition is of each word.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. And that's another thing for all of you all is that this test is really about definitions, like knowing what the words mean.
Mhm.
If you understand what the words mean, then you can understand the situation that they're throwing at you.
Okay.
All right, so she's going to read the definition again, Ron.
Appropriation is a process by which previously unowned natural resources, particularly land, become the property of a person or group of persons. Appropriation through use can apply to resources other than the exclusive right to use of the surface of the land.
Okay. So Rhonda, can you think of a historical event or any historical events where land was appropriated?
No, I was kind of thinking in one direction, but when she read the last part, I don't think it may not apply to it because I was thinking more or less like just third ward area, how some of the residents didn't pay their taxes and things of that nature and lost their
That's good.
property.
Not appropriation.
But see, that's on a whole nother level. there. We need to-
So that's why I said when she, the
That's
first part that
gentrification
came to
going on
mind.
in third ward. I know exactly about that
All right.
because that was ours at first. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so what'd you say? So Rhonda, all right, so once you said the last part, when you start thinking in a different direction?
Yes, I start thinking a different direction on that.
Ron,
one.
I said the last sentence wrong, actually. Can I repeat the last sentence?
Okay.
Word wrong in there. Appropriation through use can apply to resources other than the exclusive right to use of the surface of the land. Said use, okay, so
Right.
use.
Use.
Mhm.
Use of the land.
All right, so here's a couple of historical examples. One of them, Tamiko said, I remember the Indians, these Indian reserves. So when the United States determined that the Indians could no longer remain where they were, then they placed them in Oklahoma. That was an example of appropriation, where this Oklahoma land was previously owned by nobody, and they gave it to the Indians for them to be there. So that's one example.
Okay.
After World War II, with the situations with the Jews. So this is an international example. So they went up to Jerusalem and they appropriated that land to the Jewish nation. That's why so much conflict between Israel and Palestine,
Mhm.
because that land was taken from the Palestinians and given to the Israelites. So that's why they're constantly fighting for the Gaza Strip. So that's another example of appropriation, land appropriation. And I can give you an example of when it wasn't appropriated, because we still ain't got them 40 acres, have we?
So I was
That
gonna
would've
say
been
Black
appropriation.
Wall Street. What about Black Wall in Tulsa,
No,
Oklahoma?
because
That
they
had nothing to do with
they
that?
had to buy it.
Well, no, I'm talking about they bombed Black Wall Street. They bombed Black Wall Street and
Right, but
took all the businesses and everything.
yeah, but
Everything.
that's not an example of appropriation.
Okay, I'm sorry, I went there. I
Yeah.
was thinking.
So appropriation is because even with Black Wall Street, we had to purchase it. Like Freedmanstown,
Okay.
we had to purchase it. Now, if they'd have given us our 40 acres,
Mhm.
then that would have been another example of appropriation.
Right.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we didn't get that one. We didn't say that on camera. We didn't get that one. That's all right.
Okay.
So does that make sense to everybody? Cool. All right, so somebody just logged on that has a bunch of, is that Tammy? Tammy, is that you? Since y'all won't turn y'all cameras on, we can't see who y'all are. I don't know why y'all do that. There you go, Tammy. There you go.
I'm
Like-
sorry. I didn't know you heard me.
Yeah, no, I saw your name.
Yeah.
We heard you, Tammy. We heard you.
All right.
Okay, so that's appropriation. All right.
Okay, so have we already said, we let y'all know that the riparian has to do with rivers and littoral has to do with lakes. Tim, we're on
Right.
page 26.
Of the, well, no, she's
she don't
in
have-
ACC too.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. See, some people in ACC, some people in Champions.
Okay,
Rhonda, you taking Champions, huh?
Who, me? Mm-mm.
No, you ACC. I'm talking about Rhonda.
Nope, we're doing the Texas real estate.
Oh
Out of
yeah, you
Austin.
do keep saying that. So we got 3 different schools.
Oh, okay.
So she's doing Texas Real Estate Business School.
But I
All
know
right.
what y'all talking about.
Okay,
okay.
right,
She knows it. Tammy knows. That's
let's go, Tim.
what I'm talking about, Tammy.
I have my associates in December and I just taken this one co-op class and I'm through. And
Who
I'm
you doing
finna-
your internship with?
He put me with Maryland again.
Okay, good.
Am I supposed to be with you?
No, you don't have to be.
I could be.
You could, you could be. Because
Tell him.
like this right here will count towards your co-op hours.
Oh, well, let me tell him, because I'm finna be logging back on. Okay, I'm gonna tell him today. I just got off the class with him.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll tell him.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay, number 3. A commercial tenant is aware that his lease will expire at the end of the month. What you mean we did it?
This question?
When?
I don't know, but I go ahead though.
Since I've been in study hall, we've just done that.
Oh,
Unless one day.
somebody
know.
somebody asked me about this, but keep going. We've done this problem before. Well, let's do
We, as in I wasn't here.
it.
Okay, anyway. A commercial tenant is aware that his lease will expire at the end of the month. He has begun to disassemble his display cabinets and shelves. I do remember this.
Mhm.
Which of the following statements about this is true? Let me read that question again for you guys. A commercial tenant is aware that his lease will expire at the end of the month. He has begun to disassemble his display cabinets and shelves. Which of the following statements about this is true? A, he cannot take them without first obtaining written permission from the landlord. B, if the landlord wants them, he can pay the tenant and the tenant must leave them. C, the tenant can take these as they are trade fixtures. Or D, he must disclose to the landlord that he plans to take them.
All right, we're just gonna go around the table to see if y'all know the answer. So Tammy, what's the answer?
It's D.
D, he must disclose to the landlord that he plans to take them?
He's a tenant, right? He's leasing, right?
Yeah, he's a tenant, but his lease is about to expire.
And he the one put up the shares?
The tenant did, yeah.
Yeah, he have to disclose to the landlord because when he put those shares up, and that's now part of the real estate fixtures.
Okay, so Tammy says D. Rhonda, what do you say?
I'm thinking D as well.
Okay.
But what was B?
B was if the landlord wants them, he can pay the tenant and the tenant must leave them.
I'm stuck between B and D because I guess D he can't pay, B he can't pay him for, but as she stated with D, he must disclose that he is removing them because the landlord saw them in there, he may have assumed that they were gonna stay.
Gotcha. Okay. Lucia, what you think?
I think it's called being biased. I think I'm being biased because we do remodeling, and
Okay.
I put shelves in my mom's apartment and in my apartment,
Yeah.
and they're my shelves.
Okay.
So I need to know what the right thing is because I plan to take them. Because I put them there, I know how to take them off. They are movable, they are
Yeah.
temporary.
Okay,
don't-
okay.
Let me ask her a question.
Well, hold on, Tammy.
All right.
So C says the tenant can take these as they are trade fixtures. So you think it's that one?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so Lucia thinks it's that. Go ahead, Tammy.
So did the landlord and the tenant have an agreement that, in the question, did it say if the landlord and the tenant had agreement that if he put the shares up that it'll come off his rent?
No, it don't say that in the question.
Okay.
All right, what you think, Miko?
So we all have different views on it, I guess, because it is an open question, which all could apply, but I know it's only one right answer accordingly, so waiting
Oh,
on
yeah.
that one.
There's only one right one. What do you think, Miko?
I think it's what Lucia said.
All right,
She says it's hers and they're hers. And so that's the example of trade fixtures.
okay. What's a trade fixture?
If she put them in there, when she leaves, she can take it.
But what is a trade fixture?
She owns it. Something that she owns.
Okay, what's a fixture? Do y'all know what a fixture is? Y'all know that
Yeah,
term?
like if you put up a different type of what is it called? I guess something that's there and it's meant to stay there. It's meant to stay there,
All right, close.
isn't it?
Okay.
All right, what's a fixture, Miko?
Okay. Trade fixtures are items commercial real estate tenants attached to or installed in leased properties to be used for conducting business.
All right.
An example of a trade fixture is a product display counter at a store. Despite their name, trade fixtures don't actually remain in place.
All right. So a fixture is something that's attached, right?
Right.
So trade fixtures are commercial. Residential fixture. Give me an example of a fixture that would be in a house, in a home.
Granted,
Attached. What else? What else is an example of a fixture?
wooden floors. That would be one.
No. That wouldn't.
Curtain rods,
Huh?
curtain rods and curtains.
Curtain rods. Yep. Curtain rods. That's a
The
fixture.
closet, kind of extending the closet a little bit.
That's a remodel. But think of it attached. So,
Okay,
like in this
attached.
example, shelves,
Okay.
right? So think of something along the lines from a residential standpoint. What are things?
Ceiling fan,
Huh?
ceiling fan.
Ceiling fans. All right.
A bulb
Chandelier,
Yeah.
right? Mounted TVs, right? These are items that were not originally in the home when you bought it, but you attach it to the walls, right?
Right.
So now, for trade fixtures, do they stay with the property if it's a rental?
If it's a rental,
Yeah. If it's a tenant, a commercial tenant,
uh-huh,
they
he can take it.
he can take it.
Right.
Right. So now, if it's rental,
Uh-huh.
does the fixture stay or go?
It's gonna be written somewhere on an affidavit.
What if it's not written? What, because this isn't written anywhere. This is the rule is trade fixture. It was installed by the tenant, they can take it. It ain't written nowhere in the lease. So if it's not written anywhere and we're not gonna say lease, we're gonna say purchase, right? In my house, the ceiling fan attached, I got this TV attached. The buyer comes into the house, they see this stuff. Does the buyer, in his mind, have ownership to that stuff once the house is sold?
Oh,
And nothing's written down.
Yeah, it's the new owners.
It's the new owner.
Yeah, new owners.
All right.
Not the TV. I can see the ceiling fan.
Uh-huh.
And then too, the person that the seller can also make them aware that the ceiling fan will not stay. I'll replace it with something different. Can they do that, or do they need to replace it before showing it?
So, okay, good question. Everything that defines whatever is defined will be defined in the contract, right? But I'm saying in the event it's not in the contract.
Mhm.
So say they do a contract, it's nothing written in there.
Right.
Can the seller take the ceiling fan?
Yes.
The seller can
Yes,
take it?
yes, they can take it.
Yes,
It's
okay.
not written anywhere.
Okay.
And so that's the mistake of the person who wrote the contract.
Oh, maybe not. So, all right. So,
Was that a keyword thing?
huh?
Was that like a keyword thing? Like the keyword is that it's not written anywhere or something, or?
Right. It's not. Yeah, it's not written. So it wasn't written in the contract. On the day of closing, can the seller go in there and take the ceiling fan?
No,
I say
Who
yes.
said no?
Rhonda.
All right. Rhonda says no. Miko says yes. Tammy,
Yes, they can come get it.
seller
if
can
it's
take
not
it.
written.
Lucia,
If it's
what do you
not on the
say?
contract.
If it's not written on the contract that they're gonna leave it, then yes, they can come check it.
The
Did you
seller
write
can
that?
take it.
Mhm.
All right. So remember this.
Wow, awesome.
Commercially, the tenant it's the tenants. It's the
Mhm.
person that put it in there. It's the person that installed it.
Okay.
All right. Residential on a sale, if it's not in writing, as long as it's attached to the property, it stays with the property.
Okay, so it belongs to me.
Right.
Right.
Right. So that means the seller cannot go take the ceiling fan off. If I sell my house and there's nothing in writing saying that I'm going to take the ceiling fan,
Mhm.
then on the day of closing, if that seller goes and takes the ceiling fan there and default to the contract,
So where would it be in the contract where I need to write this?
inside of the contract, it says there's a section that speaks to fixtures,
Okay,
and that's where the seller would put, oh, I'm taking the ceiling fan.
gotcha.
Oh, I'm taking the cabinets, or I'm
Mhm.
taking the doors, right? So I know we've seen in the movie sometimes where somebody's selling their house and then they come to it on the day, and all the doors are gone and all, yeah, so that wouldn't happen in real life,
Okay.
unless it was written in the contract.
Hmm.
So did y'all know that?
Yep.
So, okay, so if it's not in the contract, can the seller come take the doors before he sells?
No.
No.
No. No, he cannot do it. Now, back to our question though. Can the tenant take the shelves before his lease expires?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because those are his. So
Mhm.
trade fixtures you
So
can
you're
take.
talking just residential too.
Right, because you're gonna hear the same word, right?
Mhm.
So in the commercial example, it's trade fixtures.
Mhm.
The residential example, we just call them fixtures,
Mhm.
right? So in the residential example, fixtures go with the property.
Mhm.
Commercial, in the example with the commercial, the trade fixtures go with the tenant. They don't go with the property.
Mhm.
So with that question, they do not want us to think too deep into it and make all these assumptions that the landlord may want the shelves and may purchase them and things of that nature. True.
Right,
We just need to
yeah.
give a direct answer what it is.
Absolutely. And that's another reason why I say knowing the definitions is critical. Because
Mhm.
you just gotta, if you know the definition of a trade fixture, then you don't have to read anything else in the problem. If it's a trade fixture, the tenant can take it. He ain't gotta tell the landlord, he ain't gotta disclose nothing, he ain't gotta put nothing in writing. If it was a trade fixture that he installed, he can take it, period. Based on the definition of trade fixture. That makes sense, Rhonda?
Yes, sir, do.
All right, perfect. All right, what else we got, Miko?
That was great.
That was good.
That was real good. That was broken
Come
down
on,
very well.
Study hall, baby. Twice
Awesome.
a month. Twice a month. This is what we do.
Okay. Number 4, a seller is attending the closing on his property. The title company has discovered unsatisfied M&M lien on the property. Which of the following is the most likely reason for the lien? I'll read that again for you guys. The closing on his property. The title company has discovered an unsatisfied M&M lien on the property. Which of the following is most likely reason for the lien? Is it A, workman on the property left tools behind? B, unpaid personal property taxes? C, plumbing was completed but never paid for? Or D, a judgment?
So here's the thing about this question. Do y'all know what an M&M lien is?
No, I don't remember.
Mechanics and I know it has something to do with the mechanics.
So here's the crazy thing though, right? What's going on, Michael? Mr. Michael Cage just joined us, one of our newest affiliate members. So, like, why wouldn't you just say what the name is? Like, why would you use the acronym on the test? Right?
Because the acronym's gonna be on the test and we have to know it.
Right, but that's my point. If I'm designing a test and I know you've never done this business before,
Right.
why would I use an acronym?
Right.
Like, why wouldn't I just use what it is, what it stands for? They're trying to get you. So,
Think that they are.
so be careful. Right? M&M, it's a mechanics lien. Y'all
Right.
familiar with mechanics liens?
Yes.
All right. So if you see M&M, don't even worry about what the other M is.
Mhm,
It's
okay.
a mechanics lien.
Okay.
All right. All right. So knowing that they're talking about a mechanics lien, y'all know what a lien is?
Yes.
All right. What's a lien? Who gonna tell me?
Like a loan. It's like
No.
money
Well,
owed.
A lien is like what most contractors put on a property when they do work on a property. Like say, for instance, they had a pool put in and they owe the pool contractors money for the pool. They haven't quite paid the pool off. The
Well,
contractors.
well,
can
that's-
do-
that's a particular kind of lien.
Oh, that's
But what's a lien?
a lien is
Different kinds of
a,
liens.
it's a judgment against the property.
All right. It's something against the property. Now, it's against what of the property though?
It's a mechanic lien, so it's probably some work somebody that did some kind of contract.
No, but a lien, what is a lien? What is a lien? What of the property is the lien? Again,
Repeat that.
Read the definition of lien.
not yet.
Is that the one where like?
I want you to kind of think through it because you say it's against the property, but what?
Money that needs to be,
It's
Paid.
against the deed. The tax-
Say it again, Tammy.
The deed of the property.
The deed. All right. So it's against the deed. What does the deed represent? What is the
It's the.
deed of this house?
Ownership.
Ownership.
Mhm.
All right. So a lien is something against your ownership stake to the house.
Mhm.
That's what a lien is. So for instance, when I get a loan, that means I own the house, but I only own the house as long as I keep paying this person. The moment I stop paying this person, then now my ownership stake in this house is at risk. Okay. So we talked about the mechanics lien. Well, they did some repairs to my house. The contractual agreement was you do the repairs, I'm gonna pay you. If I don't pay you, then now you have a right to put my ownership of the house at risk because I haven't lived up to my agreement. So a lien, all right, same thing with property taxes. The arrangement is you got to pay these property taxes every year.
Mhm.
If I don't pay the property taxes, then now my ownership in this property is at risk. So they put a lien against the county or put a lien against the property. So a lien is anything that goes against your ownership to the property. That makes sense?
Yes.
It could be mechanics liens, they could be property tax liens, they could be mortgage liens, or they call those vendors liens. So you got all these different liens against property ownership. But they don't teach y'all that. I don't teach it to you like that in school, do they? Like that in school.
They do not. I felt
Okay.
really stranded when my professors in HCC, at least for
You-
the certificate.
You say you don't or you do understand them?
No, I felt very stranded. I had a
Oh.
professor where they assumed, because they told me read the calendar, and apparently they weren't talking about the actual calendar. They were talking about whatever calendar they provided on the syllabus.
Mhm.
But I assumed it was going to be on the calendar, and then from there on, when I asked him a question about the calendar, I told him there was nothing there. I guess he got mad at me, and he didn't talk to me. I asked him like multiple questions about school, and he was
Yeah.
just like, nope. He never replied. So I was like, for that class, I was like basically left hanging.
That's cold-blooded. That's all
Yeah.
right. We get them right. All right, so now let's go back to the question. So it says a seller is attending the closing on his property. The title company has discovered an unsatisfied M&M lien on the property. And we said M&M lien stands for what? What kind of lien is it?
Mechanical.
Lien, all right. And which of the following is most likely the reason for the lien? And we said a lien is what? What is a lien?
Adjustment, I mean, something against your ownership. I mean, that's deed against your ownership.
Yeah, anything against your ownership claim. Absolutely. All right. So A, a workman on the property left his tools behind. B, unpaid personal property taxes. C, plumbing work that was completed but never paid for. D, a judgment.
See,
C,
See,
C, All right.
yeah.
C. Michael, what's the answer, buddy? Can you talk?
Can you run it back one more time?
All right. A seller is attending the closing on his property. The title company has discovered an unsatisfied M&M lien on the property. Which of the following is the most likely reason for the lien? A, workman on the property left tools behind. B, unpaid personal property taxes. C, plumbing work that was completed but never paid for. D, a judgment.
I'm gonna go with B.
B, unpaid personal property taxes.
Yeah.
All right, now do you know what an M&M lien is?
Yeah, I know what it is.
What's an M&M lien?
I just looked at it the other day too. Yeah. Oh man, I just looked at that the other day.
So have you heard of the term mechanics lien?
Yeah, mechanically, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mechanics lien. All right, so if it's a mechanics lien, what kind of people put mechanics liens on houses?
Yeah, people that do work on the house.
All right, so B says unpaid personal property taxes. So you think that connects?
No, sir.
All
So
right.
it'll be C.
It'll be C, absolutely. So the answer is C. All right, so now I have a two-part to this question.
Yes.
This question is talking about liens. Which of these answers is not a lien?
Unpaid property taxes.
All right, so she says, Tamika says B. That's not a lien.
Hold on.
what was A?
Wait, what's the answers again, please?
All right, so here are the answers. A workman on the property left tools behind, unpaid personal property taxes, plumbing work that was completed but never paid for. D, a judgment.
A.
So A, who said A?
It's A.
A, me.
Lucia says A. Tammy says, what did you say, Tammy?
A.
Rhonda A.
You
Miko,
said what it's not,
which one's not a lien?
not a lien.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I say A
You
also.
say A?
Yeah.
All right. Mike,
Yeah, go with A.
A, all right, see, y'all be paying attention.
Mhm.
Yeah. Personal property taxes, remember, that's a contract with the county. You're telling the county, I'm gonna pay these taxes every year. So as long as you uphold your part of it,
Mhm.
you ain't got a tax to your ownership right.
Mhm.
But if you stop paying the property taxes, they put a lien on it, property tax lien.
It's it's a third part to that question too that could be answered. You said the seller was selling the property or the buyer was going for a closing?
The seller,
The seller was going for a closing?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So the seller would have to pay that lien off.
or it'll come out of the proceeds.
Or it can come out, yeah.
Yeah, it'll come out of the proceeds.
Yeah.
Proceeds, what do you mean you say that?
I'm gonna tell you, great
Gotcha.
question. All right, and then a judgment. Now, judgments are against, like, how does a judgment get on somebody's house? How does that lien get on a person's house?
They would have to go follow with the courts.
And go follow with the courts. So most of the time, it's like a civil situation.
Like your eviction. They'll
Yeah.
follow the courts.
Well, not necessarily an eviction.
I mean,
like-
well, not eviction, but it is, you have to file it with the county.
Yeah, like if you sue me and you win, and the judge say, all right, you need to pay this man 50 grand. And I say, well, all right, I'm gonna pay him 50 grand, but I never pay him the 50 grand, then that judgment, if I try to go sell my house, that judgment could have been placed on my house. So they take the proceeds out of the sale of the house. Money.
Okay.
Is the money that's supposed to go to the seller.
Okay. These are the money goes to the seller.
That's a good example.
If I sell my house, the money that comes to me to go in my pocket is proceeds. The money I made. All right, so, and here's another thing that it says a seller is attending the closing on his property, right? All right, this will never happen. This will have been found out way before closing.
I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah.
Should they have researched that beforehand?
Yeah, that's why we hire title companies to do this kind of research. So I promise you, if a seller is going to closing and they tell him, oh, we found a mechanics lien on your property on the day of closing,
Mhm.
oh, that seller's gonna be pissed off, hot as fish grease, I promise you. So no, this will not happen. If that happens, everybody getting, the title company getting fired, the real fired, like, no, you know, this will not happen. So now prior to way before the seller is attending closing. By the time closing gets here, the title company would have already said the title is clear. All right, so if this did pop up, this mechanics lien, does anybody know what the title company would have done to try to satisfy to get rid of the lien? Do y'all know what they'd have done? So I'm trying to sell my house. The title company calls and says, hey man, your seller has a mechanics lien on this property. And then if I'm the agent, I'm gonna say, okay, well, what are we gonna do?
Don't they add it to like
Title
the
company's
down,
gonna answer that question? Huh?
is it added to the down payment?
No, it's not added to down payment.
They would try to resolve it before it gets to the.
Okay, but what does resolution look like?
They would, huh?
I say, how do you resolve it? Like, what would the title company do?
They are, for one, they'll try to see, can they get it off, completely
All right,
get it
how
off.
can they, okay, so how they gonna try to get it off?
They gonna pay themselves.
That's what I said.
No, they not.
Who?
No,
Like you said, the
They would
title
call
company's
the
gonna pay it, right?
Yeah, the
They
title
would-
company go.
That's
the
what I
title company
said.
go pay.
Let's
They
do
would
it.
call the
Why would-
person.
Why would the title
Is
company,
that part of title insurance though?
I don't think
If they
they'll
wanna
be
get
in,
rid of it, they wanna get it resolved, okay, what do you need to do?
I don't think the title company be in business long if it start paying.
Right, no.
You know they're involved in, but
They
go
would
called-
call the person who put the lien. on
Mike,
the
it's called
property.
fiduciary. You gotta take care of your client.
Nah, player, nah, player, nah, player. That
Is there
ain't-
title insurance? What title insurance cover for this?
that ain't what that's called, player. No. Okay, all right, what you were saying, Tammy?
The title company would call whoever they assign to this case. I mean, to this to this case. The title company would call the person who put the lien on the property and see
Uh-huh.
resolve it for a lesser price, or either can they, dispose of it completely?
Absolutely. So yeah, so Tammy's right. The title company is gonna reach out to the person, and they're gonna. Well, let me take that back, Tammy. The title company is not going to try to negotiate. No, the title company is gonna reach out to the person that put the lien on the property, and they're gonna ask for a payoff. They're gonna say, "Hey, how much do they owe? Or how much would it cost for you to remove the lien? How much would it cost for you to sign it?" Because the mechanic would have to sign what's called a release of lien, saying, "I release my lien against the ownership." They're going to reach out to them and say, "Well, how much?" That's a payoff. Like, how much would resolve it? Like, what amount of money would have you release the lien?
Mhm.
All right. So that mechanic would say $10,000. All right. So the title company will say, "Put it in writing." They'll call it a payoff. Send it over to us in writing, $10,000. All right. So then the title company will go back to the seller and say, "All right, this lien holder is saying for them to release their lien against your property is going to cost you $10,000. Now, what do you want to do?" So now the seller can say, "Well, I'm just going to pay him." So then at that point, the seller has to reach out to the mechanic, pay him the 10 grand. Then the mechanic's going to sign the release. Everything's good to go. That's an option. The seller could be like, "I'm not paying him nothing. He didn't do blah, blah, blah. Wasn't this, blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing nothing." So then the title company going to tell the seller, "Well, you ain't going to sell your house because you can't sell it unless this gets taken care of." So that's the option. Or the seller could say, "Well, look, I ain't gonna pay him the 10, but maybe I'll pay him 3, see if he'll take 3 or see if he'll take 5, but I'm not paying him full 10. So the seller could begin to negotiate with the mechanic. So then the mechanic be like, "All right, I'll take the 5. Bet. All right, he'll sign the release, get that information over to the title company, the updated payoff statement, and then they can go to closing. And then the seller could either pay that 5 up front, or they can just pay it out of the proceeds, right? So that's the fourth option. The fourth option is he wants 10 grand. I'll pay him the 10 grand, just take it out of the proceeds of the money. And then the title company will pay that to satisfy that lien, right? So that's what would happen. All right.
I wouldn't, if I was a title company, I wouldn't pay no 10,000.
No, they wouldn't be in business long.
I didn't know.
That's not how they make their money. All right. Well, we're coming to the end. We're not gonna do another test question. Does anybody have any questions, anything for me before we shut things down today?
I'm worried about the national.
You worried about that's a national question.
Okay, that's a national question?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a national question. Because remember, the state questions are particular to the States Act that I don't know the name of it, but the Real Estate Act that was filed through the state of Texas. That's what that test is going to be about.
Okay, and the national part for me to study is the national part is because that's what everybody keep telling me that they just fail, the ones who fail by a couple.
Most problems with state.
What's the national?
Yeah, because a lot of people are taking they're passing the national exam.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's the state element, like this waterfront, like the stuff with the definitions, like riparian rights, appropriate, like that's all national stuff. Encroachment are all national terms.
That sounds easy. Yeah, like I
The
remember.
Texas things are more like, what is that like the?
Well, I take that back. This one about the mechanics lien is probably a state question because the liens are at a state level. They're filed with the county.
Okay.
What's going on, Maurice?
Because don't each state have their own rules about mechanic liens?
Well, liens, just liens.
Each
That's
state
found
have.
at the state level. Yeah.
Mhm,
This is probably a state question about the mechanics lien.
mhm.
Mike,
Uh-huh.
it is true. Hey, hello everyone.
This is Monica.
Yes.
Oh, because we can't tell because you ain't got your screen on and it say iPad. I didn't know who this was.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
I
it
ain't know.
says iPad. I'm like,
I'm sorry.
what up, Maurice? There she go. Ooh,
Oh,
you got
hey,
that
y'all.
blonde hair, working the blonde hair and everything. Go ahead, girl.
You silly.
All right, go
But
ahead.
I wanted to say, like, on the state part, it is more, if you go onto the Pearson View website, and you know how you can print off, like, it's an outline of how many, what the subjects are
Yeah.
on each test, like how many questions, it really does follow that.
Really?
That whole, yes, like if you study each and every line, because that's what helped me. The national, I just flew through. But the state, I got mixed up a lot on the contracts part. They're gonna word those questions in a way that really will try and trick you up. But if you know the actual laws for Texas, you're gonna do fine. Because that's what I'm gonna go back and do. I'm gonna actually print off the contracts and study the contract as I watch the study guide videos. Girl, sit down.
All right, so you're saying this pearsonview.com/CX/real estate.
Yes, they have, I think it's called some type of handbook. Let me try.
Yeah, they call it the hand. Yeah, exactly what they call it. Here,
Well, I went
I'm
to
gonna put the
Barnes
link in the
and
chat.
I went to Barnes and Noble and bought the Texas real estate license exam prep test.
It's what'd you say?
I went to Barnes and Noble and bought the new book that they just printed out in 2020, I think. The Texas real estate license exam prep
You could have got that for free
book.
on Track website.
So I put in that link that Monica's talking about. You can actually go in there and download the handbook.
Yeah, that book, you brought this book.
That's off the Track website, ain't it?
Yes, that thing that's on the Trek website will help
What's
you
that?
a lot. It's,
Tammy, was that the book?
It's the book here.
It's the book.
Her say
Wait, I don't know if
it's
y'all.
blurred. It's blurred, Tam. It's blurred.
All right. Let me get my camera.
It looks
Texas-
similar. Yeah.
Texas, read the title, Tim.
Her book says
Texas,
License exam prep.
real estate, Texas real estate license exam prep.
Move it back a
Right.
little bit, Tammy.
What's yours say, Monica?
Mine say, what it say? 4 practice tests for the Texas real estate exam. But after going through both, the outline that's on the website is the best study guide.
That's the best one. So, and that's on
To
that
me,
link. That's
like I
on the
just
link
took
that
my
I just.
test on Tuesday, y'all. I went through national and it was fine, passed it. Texas, I think you need a 21. I got a 19 and I didn't study for Texas. But after seeing the questions, that's the best way because that's how I studied for national. And I think if I would have had enough time to study for Texas that same exact way, there's no way I wouldn't have passed.
I'm talking about. Here, tell me your book anyway, though, Monica. Because I'm gonna put all these on resources.
4 practice tests for Texas real estate exam.
So 4 4 practice tests.
It's like the number 4.
Oh, number 4. All right, so number four practice for the Texas real estate exam. And then where'd you get that book from?
This one came off Amazon for like $20. It's a good way to help you learn like how they're gonna try and trip you up with those questions. But I'm all for the outline.
how you click on here?
Huh?
Yeah, I'm putting it in here. Hey, good. That's a good word right there, Monica.
It is. Like
You scheduled your test again?
I'm doing it later on tonight after this one goes to sleep. I had to wait that full 24 hours.
Yeah. Don't worry, you get it done. We're gonna get it done. All right, perfect. All right, what other questions y'all have? We good? Because study hall just goes for an hour from 6 to 7.
Oh, okay.
So it goes from 6 to 7. You know, I'm gonna do a better job of sending those text messages out there for you to remind y'all that we having it. I see that I get a lot more participation when I send that text message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of math on the state. A lot.
A lot of math.
I remember that too.
A lot of math.
A lot of
Yeah.
real estate, man.
What happened?
Well,
What
you know,
happened, Mike? They
sometimes-
redid the test, Mike.
Say it again, Mike.
I said what they did. They redid the test since
No,
I took it.
I don't. No, they didn't redo it. So the way it works, like the state has a pool of questions. They just got these pool of questions, and whatever test you get, it's really them just randomly pulling questions out of that. So
Yeah.
So Tamiko would understand. Some people have more math questions than other people because it's about how the questions are being pulled.
Mhm.
But they all just in a bucket of questions, and then the way the test is created for each individual person is that they just randomly pull the questions out of that bucket, and then that's your test.
Yeah, don't let my statement fool you when it comes to math at all.
You don't really know anything about.
So the people that are making these exams they're not, you know, some of them are attorneys. They're not really real estate people, because they keep in mind though, like it's really a law test, right? If you think
Mhm.
it's a test about law, it's a legal test, is what it is. So it's about understanding how the law works. Because all Texas is about understanding the act. That it's a law, so it's a legal test. So that's why. So don't get caught up on the practical stuff. So once you get licensed, like no, you're not gonna know what you're doing from a practical standpoint, because that's not the way that the tests and the classes are designed. They're not designed for you to know how to actually use your license.
They say Texas and California, the two hardest tests.
Yeah, and it has the biggest requirements.
Yeah,
No, that's all right though, baby. We got this.
we got it.
Tell him,
Yeah.
Maurice. Maurice got his license. He did it. Give him some. That ain't that bad.
No.
Ain't that bad. As long as you like, I didn't much have no study books. I just had what champions had gave me, what they had highlighted me with, and I went and seen Mike. You know, say he gave me my little prep talk for as the confidence part. Then I just went up in there and took it.
Killed it. This is what I tell everybody. If you go in there relaxed and confident, you'll kill the test. Period. Most people don't pass it. It's not because they don't know the information. You've done it. Like you've studied, you've taken the classes, you've taken the test preps, you've come to study halls, you've done all of that. So your brain has all the information that you need to pass the exam. The problem with most people is you're too wound up, you're too anxious, you're too worried about it, right? So you got to clear your mind. You got to get relaxed. You got to make it easy for your subconscious to access that stuff. So that's one thing. And then you got to go in there in a peak state. Like you got to go in there confident. The fact that you've done the work, you've done the studying, you've done the things that you need to put yourself in the best situation to know the data. You go in there confident. If you go in there relaxed and confident, you'll pass it with flying colors. I promise. See, we got this. All right, family. I'm about to log off, man. Y'all know where to find me. If y'all need anything, call me. Y'all got my.
Send the text next time, Mike.
I'm gonna do
Help me out better.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna send the text out for the halls to make sure y'all log on to this thing so I can get all y'all pads.
I want that baby.
I know that baby
She is a
cute.
cutie.
Baby cute.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all evening.
All right,
Okay.
bye-bye.
All right.
Bye, y'all. How we do it?